A triceratops lies defeated, its back torn with gashes, its neck ripped open by a deep bite that reaches the bone. Beside its corpse, massive jaws with dagger-like conical teeth, the unmistakable signature of T-Rex. With just a few traces like that, millions believed this was the ultimate killer of the Cretaceous. But what if that story isn't true? What if the Triceratops was already dead? What if T-Rex simply showed up after the fact to scavenge? Or worse, what if it attacked, but wasn't the one to finish the job? These are the questions that have divided paleontologists for decades. Because the title King of Predators cannot be granted based only on large teeth or a few fossilized bite marks, it requires more. It requires truth. Tyrannosaurus Rex, the name itself commands power. Tyrant Lizard King, a timeless icon, hailed as the mightiest killer, ruling over an entire continent for millions of years. But are all those praises grounded in scientific fact? Or are they a result of myth-making, of Hollywood, and of our own imagination? For years, the image of T-Rex has been built up like a prehistoric war god, roaring through forests, charging with a bite that crushes anything in its way. It's the star of Jurassic Park, the centerpiece of museums, and the headliner of millions of YouTube videos. But what many don't know is that there's a strong scientific camp that has asked the question, was T-Rex really a predator at all? In 1970, the renowned paleontologist Jack Horner made a shocking proposal. T-Rex wasn't a hunter, but a scavenger. According to him, T-Rex's physical features, such as short arms, modest running speed, and teeth suited for crushing bones, suggested it was more built for feeding on the dead than chasing the living. The idea caused an uproar, an icon under suspicion, a legend placed under the microscope. And since then, the question, was T-Rex truly the king of predators, has become one of paleontology's biggest debates. One side claims it was a top-tier predator. The other insists it was just a lucky opportunist in the right place at the right time. But the story doesn't end there. Some modern research has fought back against the scavenger theory. They've pointed to healed wounds on Triceratops fossils, evidence that these herbivores were attacked by T-Rex, but survived. Which means T-Rex initiated the attack, not just showed up afterward. But is that enough? Can a few old injuries crown a species king? In this part, we won't take sides. Instead, we'll analyze both perspectives, its anatomy, hunting habits, fossil evidence, and ecological role. Because to determine who the true king is, we need the full picture. Not just the bite, but the evolution, the interactions, and the ability to dominate its world. And ultimately, we'll face an even bigger question. Is a predator king because of what it did, or because of what we believe it was? Does T-Rex truly deserve that title? Or could another dinosaur, like the aquatic Spinosaurus with its long claws, or the massive, faster Giganotosaurus, be the real blood-stained heir to the throne? The answer won't be simple. But if you think a big bite is all it takes to be king, this video might make you think again. Because in a world of prehistoric beasts, strength wasn't always the deadliest weapon. In the next part, we'll examine the hard evidence supporting T-Rex as a real predator. From jaw structure and bite force, to vision and hunting tactics. Do we have enough to call it a killer? Or is it all just a story told too well? If we want to call a creature the ultimate predator, we can't rely on images or stories. We need evidence, from bones, fossils, and its own anatomy. And T-Rex, once accused of being just a giant scavenger, carries overwhelming signs that suggest it wasn't merely following behind, it was starting the fight. Let's begin with the most iconic feature, its jaws and bite force. Rex didn't just have large jaws, they were unbelievably powerful. Computer simulations show its bite could reach over 60,000 newtons, far stronger than any living crocodile. Its teeth weren't blade-like for slicing flesh. They were thick, curved, and cone-shaped, designed to crush bone. T-Rex didn't need surgical precision. It could bite through armor, bone, and muscle in one motion. More than that, its skull structure was built to take and deliver impact. A massive, rigid skull with strong neck muscles allowed T-Rex to swing its head and clamp down, shaking prey violently, much like modern crocodiles. A scavenger doesn't need this power, but a predator does. Next, stereoscopic vision, a feature rarely mentioned but crucial. T-Rex had forward-facing eyes, giving it depth perception and the ability to judge distance, just like today's birds of prey. This 3D vision was rare among dinosaurs and vital for hunting, especially when targeting precise weak points on prey. Its sense of smell was also exceptional. Fossilized brain structures reveal an unusually large olfactory bulb, meaning T-Rex could smell blood or decaying flesh from far away. Critics say this proves it was a scavenger. But the truth is, apex predators need strong senses too, to track injured prey, blood trails, and even subtle movement. Smell wasn't a fallback. It was part of the hunt. Then there's hard fossil evidence, healed wounds from living prey. In 2013, researchers found an Edmontosaurus tail fossil with T-Rex bite marks, but the bone had healed. That means the animal was alive when bitten and survived the attack. Direct proof that T-Rex bit living prey, not just corpses. There are also Triceratops fossils with T-Rex bite marks in unusual places, like the neck, ribs, or face. These are not scavenger patterns. These are kill zones. The bite angles and locations match scenarios of active combat, not post-mortem feeding. Further evidence comes from prey selection. Analysis of herbivore fossils shows T-Rex often targeted the old, weak, or injured. That's not luck, that's strategy. It didn't attack recklessly. It made smart choices. Scavengers don't need judgment, but predators weigh risk and reward. What about speed? Some say T-Rex wasn't fast enough. True, it wasn't built for sprinting, but it didn't need to chase antelopes. Its prey, like Triceratops and Ankylosaurus, were slow too. T-Rex was fast enough to close in, and strong enough to end a hunt with a single ambush. It didn't win with speed. It won with power and precision. Another popular critique, those tiny arms. But science shows T-Rex didn't rely on arms to hunt. Its jaw was the main weapon. Its arms, while small, were strong, with thick claws, useful for balance or last-moment swipes. But they weren't needed for the kill. Its head did the work. A predator doesn't need multiple tools when one is perfect. So let's add it all up. From bite force, teeth shape, skull design, vision, smell, and fossil records, we see a creature not just capable of hunting, but built for it. T-Rex didn't need agility or long claws. It needed only one bite, and the battle was over. Why then do doubts remain? Because T-Rex also scavenged. And yes, so do lions, bears, crocodiles. Every smart predator takes a free meal when available. Because survival isn't about pride, it's about efficiency. A good hunter knows when to fight and when to wait. T-Rex did both. It didn't have to choose, because it could do it all. In the next part, we'll hear from the skeptics. Does scavenging behavior mean it wasn't a true predator? Are there arguments strong enough to strip away its crown? Or do they just prove that even kings know when to conserve their strength? While many lines of evidence suggest that T-Rex was capable of hunting, a number of scientists still question that conclusion. Was it truly a master predator, or simply a giant scavenger that knew how to seize opportunities? These counter-arguments aren't based on speculation alone. They draw from anatomical studies, fossil interpretations, and biomechanical analysis. One of the first points raised is its movement speed. With an average weight of nearly 9 tons, T-Rex was a colossal animal. Mechanical modeling shows it could likely run at 25 to 30 km/h, but sustaining that speed over long distances was unlikely. Meanwhile, herbivores like Edmontosaurus or Pachycephalosaurus could also reach similar speeds. This raises the question, if prey could outrun it, how could T-Rex catch them? Another often cited issue is its tiny arms. T-Rex had just 2 short, stubby fingers, nowhere near useful for grappling or holding down prey. Unlike some predators that use their forelimbs to subdue victims, T-Rex lacked that advantage. Wrestling, pinning, or slashing weren't options. Without speed or functional arms, how exactly did it attack? Then there's the fossil evidence. Numerous specimens show T-Rex bite marks on already dead animals. There are no signs of healed wounds or struggle, just post-mortem feeding. This supports the theory that T-Rex primarily fed on carrion rather than live prey. Paleontologist Jack Horner, famous for advising the Jurassic Park films, is a leading voice behind this idea. He argues that T-Rex's physical traits fit the profile of a scavenger. Thick, bone-crushing teeth, strong sense of smell for detecting carcasses, moderate speed and largely useless arms. He likens it to a prehistoric hyena, cleaning up what others left behind. Another point raised is the limited evidence of direct attacks. While there are a few healed fossils showing T-Rex had bitten live prey, those cases are rare. Out of thousands of excavated fossils, the number of confirmed hunting incidents is very small. Skeptics ask, if it really hunted so often, where's the proof? There's also the uncertainty about its hunting behavior. Unlike pack predators like lions or wolves, Rex may have hunted alone. There's no strong evidence of coordinated strategies or social hunting. If it went solo against massive armored herbivores like Triceratops or Ankylosaurus, the risks would have been enormous. One mistake could mean serious injury or death. Some argue that its massive size was actually a disadvantage. With such a heavy body, any fall or injury could be devastating. A kick from Triceratops or a tail swipe from Ankylosaurus might break bones or disable it, so would T-Rex really risk hunting large, dangerous prey on a regular basis? Lastly, there's the ecological argument. In an ecosystem filled with smaller carnivores, perhaps T-Rex played the role of biological cleanup crew. It scavenged carcasses, helped recycle nutrients, and prevented disease, much like hyenas, vultures, or tiger sharks do today. But do these arguments fully disqualify it as a hunter? Not quite. Many modern paleontologists believe T-Rex was an opportunistic carnivore, both hunter and scavenger, depending on the situation. This actually made it more adaptable. In nature, those who can shift between roles often survive longest. Also, the lack of fossil proof doesn't mean lack of behavior. Most hunting events don't leave lasting marks on bones. Corpses decay quickly. Bite marks may not fossilize well, and many kill sites may simply never be discovered. In short, these counter-arguments are valid, but not definitive. T-Rex may not have been a perfect predator, but it wasn't merely a scavenger either. Perhaps it was a hybrid of both, and that versatility may have been its greatest strength. In the next part, we'll take a closer look at what it really means to be a king of predators. Must a king hunt constantly to earn that title? Or is dominance, fear, and unchallenged power enough to rule? We often picture the king of predators as a creature that constantly stalks, charges, and kills with brute force. But if we look closely at natural ecosystems, that definition might be too narrow. In nature, the top of the food chain isn't always the most aggressive hunter. It's the creature with no natural enemies. And by that standard, T-Rex may deserve the crown more than any other species of its time. T-Rex didn't need to hunt non-stop to assert its dominance. Its presence alone reshaped the behavior of entire ecosystems. When T-Rex entered an area, herbivores became alert, changed their movement patterns, and avoided its usual paths. Much like how a lion's presence can redirect entire herds, simply being there was power. In ecological terms, T-Rex was an apex predator, the top of the food web. It wasn't preyed upon, and it influenced the populations and behaviors of every species below it. It didn't need to be the fastest or most frequent hunter. It just needed to be the creature that everything else feared. When compared to modern predators like lions, bears, or great white sharks, we see a common truth. None of them hunt constantly. A great white shark might eat a seal and not feed again for days. Bears can switch from salmon to berries. Male lions often let females hunt and then claim the meal. Does this make them less deadly? Not at all. They remain kings because no one challenges their throne. T-Rex was no different. Its scavenging doesn't disprove its hunting skills. It shows strategic survival. A creature capable of crushing bone with one bite, yet smart enough to take an easy meal when available. That's peak adaptability. In the wild, saving energy is often more critical than raw strength. Plus, hunting massive animals like Triceratops or Ankylosaurus was incredibly risky. Even T-Rex wouldn't want to charge a creature with horns that could pierce its belly, or a tail that could shatter its legs. So T-Rex only hunted when the opportunity was clear, and the rest of the time, it watched, waited, and scavenged when practical. Being king isn't about how often you attack, it's about who controls the system. Ecological studies of the late Cretaceous show that T-Rex regulated herbivore populations and maintained balance. Without it, species like Edmontosaurus could have overpopulated and disrupted the ecosystem. T-Rex wasn't just a participant, it was a stabilizer. Fossil evidence also shows that no other predator dared challenge T-Rex. Smaller carnivores coexisted, but stayed in separate regions or hunted different prey. This suggests T-Rex dominated every area it roamed, from floodplains to forests. It didn't just survive, it imposed its presence on the entire environment. Another key point: apex predators tend to claim territory. They patrol, defend, and eliminate threats. Based on fossil trackways and geographic spread, scientists believe T-Rex had similar behavior, controlling large areas alone and defending them against rivals. Computer models further show that, based on growth rate and caloric needs, T-Rex couldn't survive on scavenging alone. It needed massive regular meals, more than dead animals could provide. That leads to a clear conclusion. While T-Rex didn't hunt daily, it had to hunt. And when it did, it was ruthlessly efficient. It may not have attacked every day, but when it did, its prey had little chance. And with no predators of its own, T-Rex remained at the top, without needing to prove it constantly. Its existence alone was enough. In summary, the king of predators doesn't have to be the most active killer. It's the one with no rivals, the one whose mere presence reshapes the ecosystem. And in its time, T-Rex was the living embodiment of that role. In the final part, we'll recap the full debate and ask a bigger question. Was the king real, or was it just the story we created because we wanted a legend? And if T-Rex wasn't the king, Who could possibly take its place? We've followed a debate that's lasted for decades. We've uncovered evidence, examined fossils, reviewed biomechanics, and questioned traditional assumptions. And yet, the central question remains quietly unresolved. Was T-Rex truly the king of predators, or just a title we gave it because we needed something legendary to believe in? In truth, T-Rex wasn't perfect. It wasn't the fastest. It didn't have claws like Spinosaurus or the agile arms of a raptor. But that imperfection is what made it remarkable. It represents a creature that didn't need every optimal trait, yet still dominated an entire ecosystem through flawless adaptation. T-Rex wasn't a daily killer, nor was it a pure scavenger. It was both. A creature that was practical, dangerous, patient, and explosively lethal when it needed to be. And that flexibility is perhaps what made it one of the most terrifying creatures to ever walk the planet. It didn't hunt all the time, but when it did, it was precise and deadly. It didn't always attack first, but when it appeared, everything else adapted. It couldn't fly. It couldn't swim well. It wasn't especially intelligent. And yet, it ruled for millions of years in a brutally competitive world. That's not luck. That's power. So what is a king? Is it the strongest creature, or the one no one dares challenge? Is it the best hunter, or the one who knows when to hunt and when to wait? Is it the one with the deadliest weapon, or the one who uses what it has to dominate its world? Maybe the idea of a king of predators isn't about behavior, but about ecological role. And based on all the evidence, T-Rex deserves that title. It might not match the Hollywood fantasy, but it was a pinnacle of evolution in its time, a peak that can't be denied. Still, we can't ignore the fact that much of T-Rex's image was shaped by modern culture. Movies, books, illustrations, they all helped elevate it. But that's not a bad thing. Because of that attention, this dinosaur became the gateway for millions to discover paleontology. T-Rex may not need the title king, but we gave it that crown because we needed a symbol, a legend. And among the hundreds of species that once roamed the Earth, none embodies raw dominance like T-Rex. But the story doesn't end there, because other names demand attention too. Spinosaurus, the aquatic hunter with massive claws. Giganotosaurus, it's equal in size, but with a different approach to killing. Carcharodontosaurus, the shark-toothed lizard that once ruled Africa. Each had their strengths, and if we weigh each one by their own merits, perhaps the throne isn't so exclusive. So the final question isn't, was T-Rex the king? It's, how do you define a king? Is it the strongest, the deadliest, the longest survivor, or the one that holds the highest place in our collective imagination? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Which dinosaur do you believe truly deserves the crown? Do you still think T-Rex reigns supreme after all the analysis? Or would you like to see us explore Spinosaurus, Giganotosaurus, or another challenger in the next deep dive? And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Because in the next episode, we'll dive into the real battle for the throne. Spinosaurus versus T-Rex. Who was the ultimate killer of the Cretaceous? The war isn't over, and this ancient story still has more to tell.